Stephen, just after last night, any fresh bumps and bruises? You got a full squad to choose from for Sunday?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware of at the moment, yes. The boys, I just saw Kirky just now, the sports scientist. He said that the boys are all in good shape. So I think we'll assess them again tomorrow, but I think we'll be in good shape. Yeah.
And Jet's head, how's that? He took a sore one.
It's bigger than it used to be, especially around his eye. So he's a brave guy though, and he would have stayed on, but we just felt like it was going to take probably 5-6 minutes. The doctor was pretty clear straight away. It wasn't straightforward. So we just felt it was important to make the change as quick as we could. So I think it's for the weekend, he'll be fine.
Obviously, the focus last week was on Europe, and it will be next week. I think for the purposes of this, I'll probably just focus on Sunday's game and the start of the Premiership campaign, if I may. I mean, how would you say your squad's set going into this Premiership campaign? How equipped do you think it is for the challenges that lie ahead?
Yeah, I think we're equipped for it. We'd always look to improve, and there's always people that will like our players. So I don't think this will be the squad that finishes the season. I don't think any club in Scotland will be in that situation either. So there's nothing of note in that. It's just the knowledge that that's the way that it works.
What's the target for the league season? Obviously, Aberdeen finished fourth last season. Obviously, the last number of years, regularly up at the kind of top end of the table. What's the target for your team?
Well, the target's certainly not to move backwards. So we're going to try and improve year on year. But the challenge is win on Sunday. That's as far as we're looking. And I think that's important that we do that. And then come the end of the season, we'll be where we should be if we win enough games.
How competitive do you think this season's Premiership is going to be? Because certainly from the outside looking in, you've got what are traditionally classed as the so-called big teams. All of them are now in the same division for the first time in a while. I mean, just how kind of cutthroat a league and competitive a league are you expecting this one to be?
Well, yeah, I think you're right. Probably the most competitive it's been for years, and because a lot of the traditional clubs are back. Some of the clubs went down the leagues for a bit. Some of the clubs got relegated. Some of the clubs just weren't what they should have been. But I think everybody starts the new season fresh, hungry, and want to do well for their supporters. But it's great that that's in the league. It makes it attractive for people to come and watch. But our concern is what happens here. And I think we're moving in the right direction.
How important is it, though? I guess it goes without saying, you'd want to get the campaign off to a really positive start, don't you, with the 3 points?
Yeah, of course, as do Dundee United. So it's not. I think we had a great performance at home in front of people last week, and it's important that with that atmosphere in the stadium again, that we can recreate a performance that we gave last Thursday. That's the aim. That's what the group of players are hungry to do. They know how it felt after the game, and they'll be wanting more of the same. So I think the atmosphere drives players on, and I'm looking forward to watching the players playing again.
Obviously, looking through the squad, there seems to be a real depth to it. You've got a lot of good options at your disposal with the games. It's early in the season, but the games are coming thick and fast at the moment. I mean, how important is it going to be for you to use that squad? We obviously got the game on Sunday, but then you've got Europe again next week. Yeah,
everybody's important. I think the importance level means you can train in a certain way as well, that the boys drive each other on. And what we're going to do week to week is pick a team that's ready to win a game. It might be a time for no rotation. It might be a time for a few bodies getting rotated. But that'll be a decision that we make. It'll be a little bit closer to Sunday than normal this week, based on Thursday, the travel, and what the game took out of us on the AstroTurf as well. So, and what's coming up. Obviously, we know we've got next Thursday, then we go to Livingston, and then we got the following Thursday. So it's planning, and it's all been carefully kind of mapped out, but obviously things change.
What are you expecting from Dundee United? I mean, they're obviously going into the game off the back of a pretty strong group campaign in the League Cup. So I would imagine that they're coming up here full of confidence as well.
I would imagine so. They won 3-0 here the last time that we're well aware of. So they'll come here with that in the back of their mind. They'll come here having won a good number of games in the Cup, but they'll also know they're coming up to a different Aberdeen team, and that's what our focus is.
And you mentioned the 3-0 there. I mean, I guess just touching on what you just said there, the message will be, I mean, that might have been a pretty chastening afternoon, but it's a very different Aberdeen team now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a different Aberdeen team than what was there in April. There's a different mentality about it. We've added great quality. We've added good players. And I'm looking forward to seeing this game on Sunday.
Just a final one from me, Stephen. You obviously mentioned there at the start of the interview about the squad you've got now is not going to be the one you end the season with. I'm just wondering, is there any update in terms of Lewis Ferguson's situation? There was a bit more paper talk this morning. I mean, has his situation changed at all? Have Watford come back in for him, or is it just as it was a wee while back?
Yeah, it's as it was, or the club would have made an announcement. I'm not aware of anything in any newspapers as always, so yeah, zero update.
All the best on Sunday.
Cheers, Tyrone.
Stephen, a couple of quick ones from me here. In terms of progress, it was absolutely job done last night. Very tousy. I think I added them up, 13 yellow cards. Looking ahead to next week, as you can a wee bit, a fantastic opportunity for Aberdeen to progress in this competition against a team that should be, you're more than capable of getting results home and away against.
That's the hope, yeah. Obviously, we will focus on that when it comes round, but you find yourself download the game this morning, first thing when I get up. I've already watched them anyway because you watch both of them, but you start focusing on one of them. But it's a game that we'll go into with a game plan that can help us win. We'll tackle that after Sunday though, to be fair, and I don't want to get too focused on that ahead of it.
You mentioned already the results against Dundee United last season. I know it's historic and irrelevant largely compared to this Sunday, but one thing which I had to double check was that Aberdeen didn't manage to score against Dundee United in any of the games last season. So you've got an easy target to improve on straight away.
Yeah, well, we've got players that we believe can score goals. I think they've already proven it. I've seen it in training. And like I say, I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday and showing that there's an improvement from the group that was there in April last year in that cup game. On the tail end of 3 games in a week there last year as well, which took it out of them. But this is the back end of pre-season, and I believe that we're ready for it.
And just a quick one as well. Jet obviously came off. That was a tactical thing. You chose to bring him off. And the fact you weren't able to, or chose not to bring a striker on to replace him, does that show there's a fairly obvious vacancy in the squad for another front player?
No, it wasn't a tactical decision to take him off. It was because it was going to take 5 or 6 minutes to stitch him up, and that was the reason for bringing him off, like I said. So, no, Conor McLennan was there to come on. So there's areas that we would like to strengthen, but we're happy with the squad at the moment. Like I said, it's not going to be the squad that finishes the season. I'm 99% sure of that. But yeah, there might be additions at some point.
Fantastic. Thank you. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Chris. Cheers.
Hi, Stephen. Just briefly on last night, firstly, on another night, you could have scored 3 or 4 goals yourselves, definitely positives to take forward, but other valuable lessons to be learned going forward as well from last night?
Yeah, there's a bit of both. I think we're almost in a false situation last night. We go into an away game 5-1 up. There's a balance to be had. We could easily have just sat there, really blocked the game up, but we decided to try and play our normal way, which opened up for them. They gambled a little bit, and like if we were at our best, we probably would have scored 2 or 3 in the first half. So, but we recognised we were playing against a good team last night. I said it before the game. I said it after the first one, and again ahead of the second leg, because we had a respect for them. They showed their quality. Their 2 goals, obviously one of them was a penalty kick, but 2 bits of quality play that led to goals. So that wasn't pure giveaways on our part. It was good quality play from an opponent, and I think it shows the quality of the performance that we gave last Thursday night as well at home.
And just looking at Sunday, both teams, of course, with new managers, both hungry for success. What does that kind of add to the mix for Sunday?
Sitting in this chair, it doesn't add anything. My only concern's about Aberdeen. So nothing that Dundee United are doing really concerns me, to be honest. I'm looking forward to watching our players play at the weekend. We know what Dundee United will be about, but my focus on Aberdeen.
Absolutely. And just finally, it's really on paper, it's set up to be a cracking contest, isn't it? Between, 2 sides who like to play really good football.
Yeah, I think so. Again, you can never predict what the other team's going to do, but we think we play the game that is best to suit us. It might alter week to week, but we'll do everything we can to win the game on Sunday. And again, focusing on ourselves.
Thank you, Stephen. Good luck.
Cheers, Dave. Thank you.
Stephen, just a couple of quick ones for me. Obviously, Dundee United now have a new manager. compared to the last time when you faced them in the cup. So are you expecting to see a different side? Because like yourself, Tam will want to put his own stamp on things come Sunday, because it'll be the first time we've really seen them play.
I think we've already seen what Dundee United look like this year. They also had a highly experienced manager last year and they've changed, so maybe a similarity in that aspect. But to me, it's about what we do on Sunday, and it always will be. I think they might be slightly younger than they have before, but we won't be fooled into thinking it's going to be an academy team coming up here. I think their first group of players is very strong. It won't be too dissimilar to what we played last year. McNulty's obviously gone, but other than that, I don't see too many alterations. Charlie Mulgrew's come in to give them some real experience. I think as a club, there's a lot of talk about how young they go, but I don't think you'll see a young team coming up here on Sunday.
And just a word for the Red Army. They've once again, sold out the game on Sunday very quickly after last Thursday's game. Just how amazing is that support from them, because they're really getting behind the team this season?
Yeah, the boys are delighted that they're back. I think it's a little bit of both here. I think that you could see the performance level at home versus the atmosphere that was not created in Iceland. So, sorry, not Iceland. We weren't in Iceland yet. We're in Sweden. So the difference in the atmosphere and the reaction that the boys gave. So you see how valuable it is, and you see how much it pushes the players on. And we're delighted that the performance that the players gave last Thursday meant people quickly bought their tickets for this week. And we're excited to play in front of the crowd again as we were last Thursday. So we're grateful for the support, and we'll do our best to repay it.
Great, thank you. Good luck on Sunday.
Thanks, Sean.
Even just a couple of quick ones from me. I mean, obviously yourself, all about the history of Aberdeen. And I guess that was almost brought to the forefront this week, wasn't it? With statue of Sir Alex, sort of that news being revealed, and then going to Gothenburg as well. It can often be a burden, can't it, for players? But how do you see that sort of affect them negatively or positively this week?
This week past, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, if people are going to be affected negatively by the history of this club, they shouldn't be here. The club did great things in years past. The challenge is continually to reach those heights or get close to them again. Staff, players, people that work around the club, the challenge is to be as best as we can be. So I don't think anybody's here that is burdened by what's happened in the past. It's to be celebrated, and I think that's the reason for Sir Alex's statue coming as well. I know him and his family are delighted about it, and it was fortunate we were able to announce it in the manner that we were back where there was a huge achievement for Scottish football, not just for Aberdeen. But it's not a burden for anyone. It's an attraction for some players, if anything. The ones that we want at this club, the history of the club is an attraction, and it is for myself as well.
Yeah, and I guess obviously, Sir Alex's journey in Europe with Aberdeen is obviously hugely historic. In terms of the club, what would it mean for them to actually make the group stage of the Conference League? It's obviously been a while since they actually made the group stage of a European competition.
Yeah, it would mean progress. So it's something that we want to do. But firstly, we've got this game on Sunday. That's a big focus. But obviously, every club, St Johnstone, United, Rangers, Celtic, Hibs, we want to progress in Europe. That's the challenge every year, and stay in it as long as we can for the good of the country for next year. So that's the aim for us next Thursday, and we'll stay in it as long as we can.
And just finally, from your own point of view, how nice is it actually to have a pre-season? Obviously, you come in last March, didn't you? So during the season, but sort of pleased to have had a couple of months or a whole month to sort of really get your ideas across to the players.
Yeah, we were able to do bits and pieces last year before the end of the season, but you come into a group that you've not had any influence over at all. So you're trying to put your stamp on it a little bit with the rest of the staff. And some of the players are receptive. Some of them have got one foot out the door already, and some of them know it. So that's a bit of a challenge in itself. What I do feel that we've got now is a group that's driven, motivated, and wants to be here. And I think you can see that in the performance level and the dedication they're given.
Thanks, Stephen.